The next story, the story number 9, the title is The New Rich. I still remember how the feeling nervousness enveloped my chest when I first entered the small study room at the village hall. The room was only a tin mat. The walls of old paint were starting to fade. The calling wind was spinning slowly as if to about my steps at the time. We had just revived LBB after years of stagnation. One by one, the students came. No one carries the thick book of modern English dictionary. They came with innocent faces, some with worn flip-flops, and their voices were soft as they greeted. Assalamualaikum, Mas. I nodded and returned the greeting with a smile that I forced to not look tense. In my heart, I struggled with big question. Can I really greet them? At the time, our students with only 20 fingers can still be counted. They came not because they believe in us, but because their parents told them to be fixed. Some of them prefer to play kids with or watch YouTube instead sitting in the front of blackboard with me. I know each of them one by one. Nayaka at 5, she a grade elementary school boy who sits in the corner and never speak unless as Fahim, a hyperactive boy who always interrupt class with laughter and jokes. Nadine, a sweet girl who is very afraid of mispronouncing the letters. Manda, who often comes late because he has no take care of his sister at home. Devila, Bella, Arum, and Vida they came with little hope and almost zero proficiency in English. I cannot demand them to be immediately enthusiastic. I know very well that their background are some of them do not have access to private tutoring. In fact, most of them don't have their own English books. This is the where the struggle begins from the ground zero in effect minus. In the early days of teaching, we tutors who were only 5 people had to turn of brains. I made a flashcard out of this heaviest paper, writing down the basic verbs and its meaning. I played the children's song in English, hoping they could get used to be the sounds, but in reality they prefer to listen to or TikTok song. One night I came from LBB with a slow step. On my back still hung back full models and the market, but a heavy stings with dope in my chest. Do I deserve to did it good enough for them? But the next time I still came and the next time and again. Until one day to the small change approach. That day I was reporting vocabulary about the profession I worked on the bird doctor. But that afternoon Nayaka suddenly raised her hand. Says what is the Indonesian language of the pilot? I was silent for a moment, not because he didn't know the answer, but because it was the first time he had asked. I smiled and replied, that pilot. Yes, the pilot, it's also Indonesian, but you can say aviator. Nayaka noted, I want to be built my dear. I almost wanted to laugh because of how happy she was. One student asked, one student began to the dream. It is more valuable than anything. The change is slow, but real Fahim, who used to be noisy, began to be able to focus when learning about simple present tense. Nadine began to dare to read sentences, even though he was not. Manda asked me, Mas wants me to be right, but we don't used to go. Their questions so one thing. They think they try, and that was small fact, sorry. My friends and I started designing more fun learning strategies. We made small quizzes, spelling bee competition, and even held an English poetry night at the village hall. Those who used to be shy are now starting to show their teeth. Bella read a poem titled My Dream with a sparkling eyes. Vidya gave a speech about saving the earth while holding a paper containing his notes. But there's one question that often comes to mind. What exactly do we inherit from all of this? It's not just about English, it's not just about test scores, but the legacy which they will carry them when it's LBB in only memory. One day, Nayaka come to me after the class was over. Mas, I have a question later. When I graduated from high school, can I still study here? I smile. It's read a lot, but later maybe you are any longer a student, you are the tutor. He is lit up. Really? I want to teach my children. I want to be like a Richmond. My heart trembled, it felt like a world suddenly went silent, and there was only one voice: I want to be like M.Rijal. It's not about price and it's about sustainability. That all the efforts so far have not stopped all them, but I continued multiplied. They own story the small flame gourd that we used to fire together. One day maybe I'll have to leave this village for a bigger life, but I won't worry because I know this place will never be completely empty. As long as the spirit lives in the heart passion to learn, share and bring a little light, the odds LBB will always be alive. Even if it's no longer called LBB, even if it's only story that is told from generation to generation, because we are the new rich, not because the will, but because we are patient and something that cannot be both a love for knowledge and passion to share it, and it was there. We are really rich.